The time is nearly upon us. Our very first seasonal event after getting a year full of all of these brand new seasonals is right upon us. The Beat Hereafter event is the event that's tied to Clavavera, and that's the one that we're going to be discovering next, as a year ago from now, we actually discovered Clavavera for the very first time. And going by that spooktical countdown that's going on inside of the game, I would absolutely say at the very end of spooktical, we're going to be going into the Beat Hereafter event. The Beat Hereafter event has been teased in quite a few places now too. If we head on over to the loading screen, you can see at the very top, towards the right of the loading screen, that inside of the moon, yes, a moon, yet again, they absolutely love hiding teasers in the moon recently, don't they? But we've got the Beat Hereafter sigil inside of it, hinting that it's going to be coming very soon. And if we head on over to the spooktical trailer at the very end, if you go in slow motion, you can see in that little shot they put together the Beat Hereafter sigil too. So they're clearly hinting towards this event happening very soon in that game. For what island the Beat Hereafter event is going to be tied to, I absolutely have no doubt that it's going to be tied to Bone Island. Inside of Anniversary, we saw all of the seasonals come along, and when they were 50% off, it tied towards the islands that they were on, and for Clavavera, it showed them being tied towards Bone Island. Not that it wasn't already obvious with the mention towards Clacula inside of their bio. Now, before we go over what's going to be coming inside of the Beat Hereafter event, though, as there's tons to unpack, here's a little message from me. Have you ever wanted to make your own dream game? Well, with Yahaha, you can do that. It's a multiplayer user-generated content creation tool where you can create your own experiences and share them with friends. Over in Yahaha, I've booted up a sci-fi template, and I can literally tap, drag, move anything that I want to create my own game. And with a massive asset library, there's nothing stopping me from making my own Mythical Island inspired fiasco. Yes, of course, Mythical Island has to be a part of this. You literally don't need any experience or knowledge on servers or coding to make a game. You can literally go ahead and make it inside of the studio, and it's so easy to publish it. You can play with friends, playing in the same game or template as you, meet new friends, and invite friends. Bleatnik's counting on you to make this mythical grand game. Or make whatever game you want. Download Yaha by using the QR code on screen or by using the link down in the description. So what's going to be coming? First of all, we've got to talk about the most obvious thing that's going to be coming inside of the Beat Hereafter event. Clavavera on Bone Island. Clavavera on Bone Island coming is a stupendous deal, as we've not seen the Magical Islands be updated in so long, and Bone Island is my favourite island out of the entire series. So getting this is going to be quite a big deal. Now, what I'm thinking for Clavavera when they do come along is that they're going to likely play inside of either Kana's track, as I think that could use a little more differentiation from the rest of the song, because it's very samey up to that point, or it could also play after Kana's part, which I actually think is the most likely part, as I do think that does need a bit more filling out, as there's not that much going on there. Also, if they put Clavavera there, we can have a Clavavera and Clacula duo, and that is something which I've absolutely got to see happen in-game. Clavavera's instrument will absolutely sound the exact same on Bone Island as what it did on Seasonal Shanty. I have no reason to believe that that won't be the case, especially seeing as the Bone Island sounds were quite likely made when the Seasonal Shanty song was put together. Besides Clavavera, I think we're also going to be seeing a new rare or epic monster come along inside of the Beat Hereafter event. I think there's lots of choices behind what this could be, but I do have theories towards who's the most likely ones to choose out of this. So first of all, I think rare Clavavera does stand a chance towards coming inside of the Beat Hereafter event. We had rare Jamboree thrown at us inside of Anniversary, and therefore, seeing as though Rare Jamboree is also an Orc seasonal, it does provide the chance that they might want to do that inside of the new seasonal events when they do come along. If we did get Rare Clavavera, I can imagine them painting the flowers, really adjusting the saturation on this monster to perhaps try to get across the celebration part of the Day of the Dead a little bit more, perhaps providing a bit more of a vibrant skeleton with more whitish tones, and putting a butterfly on top of Clavavera would be a really cool indication there too. And just, I think with Clavavera, making their dress a bit more fancy and vibrant would go a really long way. Specifically with the dress, I think they could do a lot with that section, so that would excite me to see what they could do there. I really want just a more vibrant, toned monster though for Rare Clavavera, as I do think that the celebration part of Day of the Dead could be really brought out with the rare edition of Clavavera. With this seasonal event only just happening now though, I think that Rare Clavavera does have a little bit of an unlikely unlikely chance of happening, and therefore I think the most likely one for us to see inside of the Beat Hereafter would be Rare Clackula. This would be the ultimate one to choose, I think, out of them all. Out of any monster to bring out on the Beat Hereafter event, I think bringing about Rare Clackula would make the most sense. Its ties to Clavavera and the Beat Hereafter are already there, and seeing as though Clavavera is only just going to be releasing in the Beat Hereafter event, it probably would be a bit too soon to bring out Rare Clavavera unless they do it later on inside of the event. And therefore, I think this is probably just the most clever option that they have here. With Rare Clackula, imagine a sombrero, and we could also see a more painted skeleton, I think, really bring out those vibrancies and perhaps clash with the more distant and ominous tones of Clackula and bring out a more fun side towards this monster. And with bringing out this, I think making the bow larger and captivating this celebration really well would go a long way, or even maybe having a neckerchief there. I've seen tons of people throughout the Day of the Dead event have a neckerchief, so maybe having that there would represent the event very well for Rare Clackula. But if we are to get anything out of Rare Clackula, I've got to see flowered hands or patterned ones. But get this, guys, I think I've come up with quite a good idea here. Seeing as though Clackula is almost rattle themed, I was thinking, what if instead of the hands they try and captivate around maracas? I feel like that would really bring out Day of the Dead, and honestly, that is such a cool idea. Get on that big blue bubble, that would be amazing. For what Rare Clavavera could look like, the wonderful Lycoad on Instagram has come up with a completely opposite design to what I was envisioning when I was coming up with the video, and it looks absolutely stupendous. They've really complemented the black tones across this monster and the typical tones that you find amongst Day of the Dead. The sombrero at the very top of this design too is something that I mentioned for Clackula, but seeing that instead on Rare Clavavera is interesting. I think having a duo there between Rare Clackula and Rare Clavavera when those rare forms do come along, where maybe Clackula is wearing a more masculine one and then Clavavera is wearing a more fashionable one, would be something that I'd really like to see. Besides Rare Clackula and Rare Clavavera being as possibilities, though, we absolutely could just see any rare magical, I do think, on Bone Island. We've not seen a rare magical in a while, and therefore I do think we would end up seeing one inside of the event. If they choose anyone, though, big blue bubble, you gotta choose Pumpkin. That's the end of the deal for that one. Been waiting for it for a long time, okay, guys. Another obvious thing that I do think we're going to be seeing inside of the event is absolutely a decorated Bone Island. And I actually have quite a few things to say about this. I absolutely love the Spooktical edition of Plant Island. And I was just thinking about this when I was looking at the, because Spooktical's on right now, and I was thinking, my gosh, the Spooktical design for Plant Island just clicks. And Firehaven's Feast Ember design was okay, it was cool, but Plant Islands is the one where I go, wow, they really bring everything out for this one. I would absolutely love to see a return to the Plant Island-like seasonal design, and for Bone Island to get really experimental and delve into the Beat Hereafter, not just as in placing the decorations amongst the island, but actually changing the format of the island. I just love how Spooktical is brought about on Plant Island by changing its design. I think maybe changing the floor to a darker toned grey would go an immense amount. I think if they changed that, that would be the most standout feature and make your eyes go, wow, that's really changed the island. And painting the skulls amongst the island would be really cool to see too. And for the Titan face, I'm imagining, seeing as though it's very skeleton themed, this, for them to make the eyes more hollow and the holes that you see scattered around the Bone Island Titan neckrol, and to make it appear more skeleton-like rather than the blue tones that you see across the island. Painting the skulls amongst it too in different colours that you see up towards the top area would go a long way, and it's just a tradition that you see inside of the event, so I would see this being an absolute must that they're probably going to do inside of it. And rather than the plants towards the back, I would absolutely love to see some flowers at the very back and more vibrant nature parts of neckrol rather than the green ones. I think they've absolutely got to change it to be something a bit more vibrant to fit the event's theme. I know I'm going really far with this, but I would love to see a more colourful and darker toned sky. This is my favourite island, guys, so I'm really hoping that they change this seasonal style a lot up from the original design. That's my hopes anyway. I do think we're absolutely going to be seeing a trailer for the Beat Hereafter event. They skipped out on Spooktical, and I'm absolutely certain that we're going to be getting one for this, seeing as though it's the first time that it's come around, and I just don't see them missing this opportunity, seeing as though there's going to be that much content on the way. I think we're absolutely going to get one there, so maybe they'd like to put some costumes in there to highlight upon the event, seeing as though we've not had some in a while. That would be pretty cool, but I'm not really sure about that because it might be too soon, seeing as is that the event's only just happening. Just like Clavavera Clavavera, that's probably something that they might want to save until later. Let me know what you're excited about with the Beat Hereafter event though, guys, down below, and make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed, guys, and subscribe too for now. See you guys later though for now. Bye, guys.